Hello and welcome back. So in the previous videos we have learned about what is the break-even point and how do we calculate it in the very simplest form. Let's play around in the Excel scenario model so that we can understand it even we can answer the critical questions or can analyze the break-even points in a bit more details. So I have already put up the model here. Selling price was 30, food cost was 10. The gross profit will be equal to the gross selling price minus food cost, which will become 20. So here, as you will see, I'm not using the reference calls because the that is only the we are not using the cell reference. I have named the cell as different prices. So you can see here we are naming the cell as different names. Selling price, we have mentioned this as cost. So when you are using the formula, you can easily see what the formula is: selling price minus the cost. Then the break even point we have already calculated at 100, so we just put that into the picture. So our total contribution will become profit, will become gross profit into break even. So you can name this cell as well. So how you can name the cell: as you click here and then you put in the name in the cell as a where C5 is written to say gross profit, and then press enter. So it becomes gross profit, and this break even quantity is the break even point. It's already been there, so you can change the sum formula. So when you are changing this, you will say quantity into gross profit. So the break even total profit will be quantity into gross profit. So facilities cost we know already. We have not named this cell, so let's name this cell as fixed cost. So now this becomes, oh sorry, you should not be using a fixed space in the naming. Fixed cost, right? So the profit will be our total profit minus fixed cost. Oh, this cell was not named. We can name this as well. Contribution margin. So this cell will become now contribution margin minus fixed cost. So to our gross profit is our net profit will remain zero. Now let's assume create some scenarios. So to create the scenarios in and to see the impact of different scenarios, we can go to the data ribbon and click what if analysis. So what instead of what if analysis, you need to click scenario manager. So once you go to the scenario manager, I have already created one. So let's delete this and then you will be able to run. So what you need to do is click add new one, and you need to make it name. So maybe let's say tickets 50. So if you are able to sell only 50 tickets, what will happen? So you need to change what you need to identify what cells you will be changing. So if you are gonna change, let's say the selling price maybe change, food cost may become change, break even point is already being changed, and then the fixed cost can also change. So you can click them up. Only the cells which are key inputs, the cells where the formula is written, you will not be able to change. So you cannot select it, and then click OK. So now you are able to create a scenario here. So selling price, as we seen, if let's say you are able to sell only 50 quantity, so you can change it to 50. What will happen to your selling price? Do you let's see, we don't change the selling price, we keep the selling price remain the same. The cost, will it increase or not? Let's say it's gonna increase to 12 because with the less number per unit cost may increase. Now the rental, do you need to still pay the same rental, or can you negotiate? Can you reduce the number of staff? Maybe if we are able to sell only half tickets, let's reduce the staff by maybe half, 50%. And can we reduce the kitchen staff? Maybe, may not be, because you still cannot you still need to cook for the rest of the 50 people. Stage crew will remain the same because number of peoples will remain the same on the stage. Only thing is probably you may want to reduce the quantity of the music or entertainment. Let's say you are able to reduce it to 250, you are able to negotiate and reduce it to 250. Rental, you also able to negotiate and say it's 400. Now you can click, you can add more scenario. Let's say you can add a bit of more scenarios. Now you can make this cell name as ticket. Let's say you are able to sell 70 tickets instead of 80 tickets, instead of 100 tickets. Now you will need to identify again what will happen in this case. So you have to brainstorm and say, okay, if I sell 70 tickets, my ticket cost may remain the same, my variable cost may remain the same. I may get some discount, let's say only 450 in rental, or I can reduce the serving staff to maybe let's say 800 people's. Kitchen staff may remain the same, the stage crew remain the same. Now we know one more scenario. So now let's add one more scenario here. So the scenario, we can say, okay, tickets, let's say if we are able to sell more, what will happen? So if we are able to sell 120 tickets, what gonna happen? So now you can say the tickets are sold 120, the selling price, maybe we have to reduce it to 28 in order to sell more on an average basis. The cost may grow a bit less because of the profit, and then the rental may increase because we need additional space. So let's say it's going to increase to 600. Serving staff also increase to maybe 1200. Kitchen staff may also need to cook because it need to cook more, 250. Stage crew remains the same. So let's put it now, click OK. So now you have three scenarios, right? So what you can do is you can click on the summary to see what is the impact. So once you click summary, you will be able to see the scenario summary, and results will can be put on a new cell. So we can click on the new sheet. Oops, sorry. So you can click here to see the summary, to see, okay, the summary will be put here. Okay, sorry, the result cell was I forgot to click on here. So let's do it again, because we want to understand the impact on the profit. So let's click on the scenario again, scenario manager. Now we want to see the summary. The result cell is this, because we want to see the impact on net profit and scenario summary. So now you can see the current values, there was no profit. If we sell 50 tickets but we are able to reduce certain parts of the rent, we are still at minus 450. If we are selling 70 tickets, we will be at minus 350. Even if we sell 120, because of the increase in cost and reducing the selling price, we will result in a loss. Now you can play around with more scenarios as you like, and you could actually just copy paste. Instead of making a scenario, you could just copy paste and change the numbers by yourself. That also was possible. However, that is not an ideal, that is also possible to play around the similar number. But if you want to, if you don't want to mess up with your original calculations, original sheet, you can use the scenario managing. So this is how we can play around with the different numbers. When you are estimating the numbers, you need to think critically. If my number of units are less, if I'm able to sell only let's say 50 units, obviously I'm in a loss of 1000 now. So there are only two ways I can reduce this loss: either reduce my fixed cost from 2000 to 1000, then it becomes zero, or I need to save or increase my contribution margin. So how much I need to increase my contribution margin? So you can see now, 2000 divided by 50, so that is a break-even quantity, right? So our contribution margin need to be 40, which is definitely not possible because our selling price itself is only 30. So means you need to able to control the food cost. Now let's say we are able to control only 20% food cost. We are able to increase the price by 35, let's say. if we are able to sell only 50 units and we are sure we can sell it, and we are able to do some menu engineering or some other cost control, and we are able to reduce the food cost by $2, so that our contribution margin will increase to 27. In that case, our food cost, our fixed cost divide by 50, sorry, our contribution margin will increase to 1350, but our fixed costs are 2000, so means the another 600 we have to take from somewhere. So we may have to negotiate with the facilities. Let's say you are able to negotiate it to 400. Now you can reduce stage crew maybe, or you just reduce it to half, 150, or maybe not, because you still have, this is your selling feature probably, so you will not be able to reduce it to 350. So now you are left with 700 people, 700. So now you are able to spend only another 650 on both the staff, kitchen and the staff. So now let's say we are able to control the kitchen, do the multitasking and everything else, but we are not able to reduce it beyond 150. So what you need, you need to be able to do the staff, which is actors doubling up as servers, has to be only $500. So these are your targets to become profitable. In case you need to sell, you need to sell only 50 quantity. So this is how you can play around the numbers, and you will get some more ideas which are possible ways to become, to remain profitable, to remain sustainable. What are the different ways you can reduce the food cost? We can so now if you want to you can see how you're gonna reduce the food cost by looking at your recipe engineering, your alternative products or anything else. You just need to come up with the brainstorming ideas, how you are going to be able to reduce the manpower, how you are going to reduce the variable cost, how you are going to negotiate with the rental, how you are going to negotiate with the stage crew to remain profitable. Let's take a situation where you are able to sell only less, only 40, only less than, now you are able to sell 120. In that case you are going to make a profit, right? But selling 120 may cost you a bit more on the facility cost, or may even get you to reduce your selling price. So you can play around these in the scenario managing, so that you can see if the efforts are enough or not enough, will it result in a profit or not result in a profit, and what else can we do. So this is the power of break-even point. This was a very simple calculation, very simple example. Now let us, we will get into more complex sensitivity analysis to see how much we can reduce, and we'll be looking at a much more complex template for hospitality, which includes revenue, other independent revenue streams and cost streams, to make it more valuable for you.